What's up, stop motion lovers? It's Julian and I'm finally back in my workshop. And today I want to talk to you about one of the big problems of our craft, which is dialogue. How do you make a puppet that's made out of steel and rubber and fabric? How do you make that puppet talk? For big scary animals, a simple wire as a lower jaw might be enough. Just bend it open if the T-Rex is screaming and close it if it's not. And you know, armatures are very intricate. Some of them are real wonders of engineering, but still, like, no matter how small you go, these very specific shapes that our mouths make to form sound are still kind of too complex for little metal joints to form them. And from bad mouth movement to characters that simply don't talk at all, a lot has been tried. In my opinion, the method that gives the most freedom while being a little bit more work though is something called replacement animation. Instead of having mechanics with a flexible material on top, the face is made out of a hard clay or plastic with a certain part, often the mouth, sometimes the whole face, being cut out. Instead, there are tiny magnets on which a piece with a certain facial expression can be inserted. Then, if you want to make your puppet look happy, you put in the smiling mouth, unhappy the closed mouth, maybe move the eyebrows down a bit. If you want the puppet to say the word car, for example, you insert the C or K shape, then the open A shape, followed by the R shape. For that, you have to know a little bit about something called phonemes. The shapes our mouth forms to make a certain sound. Letters like A or O, for example, can have various different phonemes depending on the word. Developments in 3D printing, such as multicolored prints, have made this method a favorite for professional studios like Leica or Aardman. But there are non-digital ways of using this method as well. The way I made this head is with my usual tinfoil and Sculpting method. I used an air drying clay this time because I found it a bit easier to sand it in a way that the mouthpieces and the rest of the head match in their texture. Also, when you sculpt a mouthpiece inside the face hole, it's hard to get it out again for baking without deforming it again, which would make it not fit the hole well anymore. So the way I did it was I sculpted the head first without the mouth, just flat clay where the mouth should be. I guess you could directly spare a hole out, but since the angle of the sides are important and I thought cutting into a dried hard material would give me more control, that's how I did it. So when the sculpting got hard, I marked a big roundish area where the mouth should be. I wouldn't make it too small, that gives you a lot of freedom later with the mouth shapes. Maybe you want to make one with a really huge open mouth or a ridiculous ear-to-ear grin or something. So give yourself some room to work with. Then I glued a magnet in the hole so that the space where it is can already be considered when sculpting the mouthpieces. So then I just push some clay into the hole, make sure that it covers the hole completely. Rather have it go over the sides a little. You can sand that off later, and also the clay might shrink a little, so don't save on clay. You can always sand off a little, but once it's too small, it won't match well into the face. So simply sculpt the clay into your desired mouth shape, then let it dry a little bit in the quote-unquote mold. Carefully take it out without squeezing it too much and let it dry through completely somewhere else. In the same time, you can sculpt the next mouth. When I was done with all my sculpting and sanding, feeling like it all fits together, I glued these tiny thin metal circles on the mouthpiece sides to give them something that holds on the magnet. Then I finally paint all my pieces, of course being very careful to match the colors. I used watercolor because it sticks so well to the clay and it looks a little translucent, but use whatever you like. So that's it for today. If you try out this method of making a replacement animation head, please share a link or something in the comments. I really want to see your work. And I know I didn't show me making the head like how I usually make my videos, but I first wanted kind of to try this out once by myself before I share with you what I think is a good method. But I also wanted to give a bit of a look about the whole topic of replacement animation at large. Just show you this little head that I made for myself to kind of better understand replacement animation and to just get into the topic, because it's a pretty big topic. It can get really complicated if you're doing more than this head that I'm just making right now with like 10 pieces that can basically just be happy and sad and 3 things in between. If you want to have your characters speak actual words and whole sentences and in different moods, you're going so quickly into the hundreds and thousands of mouth pieces and eyebrow pieces and eye pieces and ears and hair. Yeah, it can get a little bit confusing and it can get a little bit hard. So that's my first step, getting kind of familiar with the topic, and I hope it helped you get a little bit familiar with the topic as well. And that's it for me for this week. I see you very soon. Subscribe if you aren't already. Like the video if it doesn't hurt you, because it helps me. And yeah, see you very soon. Thanks for watching.